Hello, welcome to the 2013 USA Triathlon Age Group National Championship briefing. My name is Tim Yount. I'll be your host for the next 35 to 40 minutes. We will encourage you as you listen to this briefing to take notes, and if you have questions about what you see or hear, please be certain to email nationalevents@usatriathlon.org. We are very excited to have you in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, August 10th and 11th, for what will be the largest, most successful, most certainly, Age Group National Championship in the history of USA Triathlon. This year's event has over 3,000 age group athletes in the Olympic distance event and nearly 1,200 athletes in the sprint distance race. So a lot of great action ahead of us. As is true with every Age Group National Championship weekend, there's a pretty heavy schedule of events. We'll start off with Thursday, August 8th. From 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. is the packet pickup and the expo at the Milwaukee Art Museum. For the people interested in going to the Athlete of the Year dinner, that'll be Thursday night at 6:15, also at the Art Museum. There are still spots available for that. The special guest attending will be Chrissy Wellington as your keynote speaker, starting at about 7:45. Friday, August 9th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., packet pickup, again at the Art Museum. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. will be swim practice at Discovery World. This will not be swim practice over the entire swim course. It will be a small inlet from the start area to the bridge. And there's a pretty wide area there that you'll be able to do whatever swim warm-up you so choose. You can actually take a look and see what your sight lines are going to be. So it should be an adequate swim opportunity for you. We encourage all athletes to take advantage of that time spot. At 1 o'clock, age group rules briefing at the Milwaukee Art Museum in the finish line. At 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., the mandatory bike check-in for the Olympic distance athletes at Discovery World, which will be our home for this particular event as far as bikes are concerned, storing them and all the other activities. 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. We'll have the pre-race pasta dinner, and that'll be at El Mito. And then at 5 o'clock will be the Kids Fun Run at the Art Museum. So that should be a really fun opportunity if you have kids that like to come out for a very short fun run activity. On Saturday at 5:30 a.m., transition will open for the Olympic distance. 7 o'clock, 9:45 roughly swim warm-up area. What we'll need to note here, though, is that, yes, 7 a.m. is when swim warm-up can begin. After the first wave at 7:30 a.m., there'll be staggered warm-up opportunities. So essentially before each wave, you'll be allowed to get into the water, which we'll identify in the maps that are forthcoming. Then you'll move from the warm-up area to the start, which will be an in-water start, and then your wave will proceed. We will follow this for all the waves. We will not go through every wave here. Please take a look at the website as well as what you see here in this pre-recording, and you'll see the wave start times for the particular ages, broken down into 5-year age increments for the most part, with the exception of males 60+ and females 55+, which start in their own wave. The Race Day Expo will be open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., so also be certain to check that out at the Milwaukee Art Museum. The final wave, which will be wave 17 for the Olympic distance athletes, males 24 and under, that'll be at 10:12. We go right into some of the particular cutoff times. Swim cutoff for the Olympic distance will be at 11:15 a.m. The bike cutoff for the Olympic distance will be at 12:15 p.m. And at about that time, roughly that time, we will allow for bikes to be checked out. We will make the announcements of when it is possible for people to retrieve their bike and gear out of transition. The course will officially close for the Olympic distance race at 1:20 p.m. The late packet pickup for the sprint distance athletes will then be from 2 p.m. to 6:30. The town hall meeting, which is the mandatory membership meeting for USA Triathlon, we'd encourage all of you to show up and listen to what the CEO and president and chair of the age group committee have to say about the current state of the sport. That'll be from 4 o'clock to 4:45 at Discovery World. We'll have more details on that as we go forward. 4 p.m. to 6:30, sprint bike check-in, which is mandatory. Henry Meyer Festival Park Northgate entrance. 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., the Olympic Distance Award Ceremony will take place, again, at the Henry Meyer Festival Park Northgate entrance. So we will have a lot of activity on that Saturday. We ask that all you guys pay attention to the timelines and be where you need to be so that you are not putting other people in jeopardy by being late. Very important to note for packet pickup procedures, Thursday and Friday, August 8th and 9th at Milwaukee Art Museum lawn. Late packet pickup Saturday, August 10th for the sprint only at the Milwaukee Art Museum lawn. Again, both locations. Packet pickup, the expo Thursday, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 2 p.m. to 6:30. Please, please be certain to bring your photo ID and your USA Team membership card. All athletes will retrieve their championship timing system at this time. And we will note, the first time we've really probably pushed this issue, $125 fee if you are late in returning your chip or you don't return your chip, period. Please note that these are very expensive for the timer to purchase, to lease, and so we'll ask for that fee for the first time this year. As is true with any big city, race site parking information, very, very critical. There will be 6 separate parking garages and lots near the venue. Those will be located in various parts of our website. You'll see maps and stuff at packet pickup. We ask that you please make strong consideration to parking in those locations. There will be fines. There will be people probably hold away if you park in areas that are no parking zones. And certainly you will not be allowed to park on any section of the course that we're using on race day. So make sure you look in your event program at the packet pickup area. There's plenty of time for parking as long as you get there early. And so please adhere to all of these very important opportunities for parking. 6 separate locations in and around the venue. Here's the parking map that you'll see here, as well as the locations. The other maps that we'll have at registration will actually talk about the exact positions of each of the buttons that you see here on this map. The pre-race pasta dinner, Friday, August 9th, from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. There will actually be an hour segment, so the first segment will be 4:30 to 5:30, 5:30 to 6:30, 6:30 to 7:30, through 7:30 to 8:30. So we ask that you guys make certain that you get your reservation made online for $18 per person, located at El Mito Trattoria, downtown, one of the top restaurants in the city. Walk-ups will not be available. Again, we require a reservation be made, prepared by local chef Michael Feeker. Menu focused on providing the athletes the nutrients and energy that you need. So know that you'll get the right kind of food. If you make a reservation early, we'll have the opportunity to seat you as part of this. It will fill up. It will close, so make sure you do this quickly. Sticker placement is always a very important topic. You'll have 3 for your helmet. You'll have 1 in the front and then 2 on the side. Your body numbers, you'll have, if you have a race belt, 2 body number stickers. You would actually adhese them together over the belt, and that would become the number that you would use on the front for the run, on the back for the bike. Not required for the bike, but we certainly ask if you put it on, you'll not forget it, and that will be the easiest way for you to not have to run back to your bike to pick up your bike numbers as you go out on the run. So it's very simple. If you do not have a race belt, you'll put the sticker on the front and the back so that we can see it from both sides. The other sticker, very important, is for your bike frame. You can fit it in one of 2 places, either on the seat post or on the brakes, just down from the seat post in your top tube. Must be visible from both sides. You'll actually have a little bit of a crease in the center where the Tritats logo is currently placed in this particular example, and that folds there, and then it sticks together so that it does not flap. It holds pretty firm wherever you decide to place it. You'll also have a sticker placement for your bag, but don't use this bag as an example. We're going to get into some of the safety guidelines that we're having to take in a few moments. Numbering system. Many of you have been to our events in the past. There is a Tritats numbering system that we have. You'll receive those at packet pickup. You will read the instructions very carefully, we know, for sure, and you'll place the numbers in the locations noted here. 2 on the arm, 1 on each arm, the right arm, left arm, and then 1 on each leg. And then we'll ask that you also put age on your calf. Now, if you do not have any luck with these particular tattoos, we'll ask that you use the markers or you see the volunteers at the entry point of transition to make sure you do get marked appropriately. This is a requirement that we are asking all people to do this year, to make sure you're fully body marked prior to getting to the start line. Timing chips will be handed out at packet pickup. Do not forget them, please, on race morning. I would put it on your ankle before you go to bed. That way it's on and it's ready as you roll out to the venue. There will be charges assessed for those people who do forget their timing chip and will not be refunded until such time both chips are returned. The always important rules briefing. How many times have you been in a race where someone has had an infraction? The head referee says, did you attend the rules briefing? The answer from the athlete is, no, I didn't. I didn't have time. I was busy. That's one of the problems that we have with this system is you need to show up for the rules. That way you know if they're going to be upheld on race day, how they're going to be enforced on race day. Commissioner official Charlie Crawford will be doing this one Friday, August 9th at 1 p.m. Again, it is optional, but certainly encouraged. Milwaukee Art Museum finish line. Please know that we'll have more officials than you've probably ever seen in a race in your life, and they will be very vigilant in making calls, not because they want to, because they need to. Okay, we touched on this in the original schedule. The bike check-in Olympic distance, Friday, August 10th at the transition area. Mandatory for all athletes, Friday from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. There's a 5-hour window. Please do not miss it. If you happen to have any issues with travel to the venue and you are not able to make it in that time frame, we encourage you to make contact with USA Triathlon staff. Send an email, perhaps with your iPhone or your Android, to tell them you will be late. We do not allow for any excuses, though, so please be aware of that. You need to make it in that time slot. Sprint distance bike check-in Saturday, August 11th, again at Transition Discovery World, 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Must have a wristband, your bike number. If you have any issues with your bike, there will be the bike company support wheel and sprocket to do whatever minor repairs you might need. And as far as parking, make sure you refer to the parking maps. You know exactly where to park so you don't get a ticket or towed. As is true since Boston, every major event in the country has had to take on additional security advisements. One of the things that they recommended that we do is what you see on this particular screen. You should be prepared for bag searches at the race venue. Please do not leave any bags unattended at any point in time at any location in and around the race venue. Items you wish to keep after the race need to be checked into the bag check-in tent. There will be this drop-off tent that will be easily found at the venue. The key point is that you will not be allowed to place your own bag in the bag drop-off tent. You will be required to use the clear plastic bag that you'll pick up at packet pickup from us. All items must be placed in this particular bag and left with us. The number you get on your number sheet should be placed on that, as well as marking it with a black marker that will keep your number and that sticker in place. We ask that you do this prior to dropping it off. We'll then put it in location and secure it for the entire time that you are either in warm-up or participating in the event. You will not be allowed to place your backpack in a plastic bag. And if you do have a need to drop off your bag do so with family members, put it back in your car, or keep it back in your hotel. Race morning, the all-important race morning. Olympic and sprinters in transition will open at 5:30 a.m. Transition will close for both events at 7:30 a.m. Please, again, refer to the parking maps. No parking on the race course or at the transition area at any time. No bags allowed in transition during the race. You will only be able to place at transition those items you need for competition. Please note that. Anything else will either be removed or you must put into bags or give to other people at the event supporting participation on this particular day. Bike support, again, provided by Will & Sprocket, and do not forget your time and ship. The Olympic distance swim course is what we'll touch on first. The Olympic distance racing, one-lap course. You can anticipate a wetsuit legal swim. The temperature last recorded on July 22nd was 74 degrees, so bring the wetsuit regardless. We'll make the announcement race morning to let you know exactly what you will be allowed to do. It will be an in-water start. It's a rectangular loop that we'll show you in just a second. Your yellow triangular buoys are your turn buoys. The orange buoys that you see on the course will be your sight buoys. And we'll ask you guys, when you come out to the venue, have the map with you, walk the ground area that's right next to, adjacent to where the swim will take place to make sure you see everything you need to see. You can obviously take a look at it when you get in the water that morning or for your swim warm-up, but we ask that you also walk the land section next to the swim so you also have a very good feel for what it looks like. Support on the water will be very extensive: boats, lifeguards, kayakers, stand-up paddleboarders. Be at the start at least 20 minutes before your particular wave start. We have a pretty good science where we put you into a queue and move you through the system. That will include the warm-up process as part of the swim. What you see now on the screen is the actual swim course as we'll see it on race day, again for the Olympic distance athletes. It'll be an in-water start, so you'll essentially go from swim warm-up area to the start platoon section in the water, and the horn will sound. You'll have a first buoy that will be to your right, then you change the slight angle of the diagonal to go actually underneath the bridge. This is that black marking there where the land narrows is an actual bridge. There's about 20 meters of space there, so you'll stay to the left as much as you possibly can. You'll then hit a series of buoys where you'll actually shoot between the yellow buoys. One will be to your left, one will be to your right. You will then take a slight turn where you'll then see the directional buoys that will stay to your right, at which time you'll then see the final buoy, which will be a yellow buoy. You'll take the hard right. You must keep that again to your right. You have a short diagonal, again keeping the buoy to the right. You then start coming back using the directional buoys. You come back parallel to what you swam on the way out. You'll have the same situation where you'll have 3 yellow buoys. You'll hit between them, so you'll have one buoy to your left at this point, one buoy in the middle. Again, at the same point where you are coming out, you'll then go between the section there where the bridge is above you. There'll be a very hard turn left, again keeping the final buoy to your left, where you'll then move towards land into transition. Please be certain to check out this map once you get to the venue so you have a very clear idea of what it'll look like. Setup will take place within that 24-hour period of time before the race start. We encourage all of you to make your way to that section of the venue, again, for clarity on exactly what this swim course will entail. The Olympic distance bike course, again, one lap, 40 kilometers, mostly flat. There is very, very little undulation. There is a little bit, just to make things somewhat exciting. On the map that we'll show you, there's actually an elevation chart that will show you what the rise over run actually is going to be. Course will be closed to traffic, no bottle exchanges for the bike. USAT officials will be numerous on the course. policing it as they always do. And just as a reminder, before the event, you will not be allowed to ride your bike on I-794 and Hone Bridge. You may be ticketed, so please adhere to the safety protocol, the police instructions not to get out on your bike and ride that section of the bike course. Here is your bike course, touching on 3 different cities. In this particular area, you're going to exit the transition on the edge of Discovery World. Left, take a really hard left on Michigan, which is right next to the Run Trail. You'll take the hard right on Lincoln Memorial Drive, and you'll stay on Lincoln Memorial Drive until such time you get to almost Lake Drive. There's a little bit of a section right before that. You'll do a 180. You'll reverse field on Lincoln Memorial Drive, which joins I-794 Lake Freeway, as you see on the map here. Fairly simple. There will be cones directing you to the proper channels. It will be very clear, very easy to follow. You'll take your left on Howard, your right on South Lake Drive, 180-degree turn at East College Avenue, where again you reverse field, come all the way back to the point where transition is located. You take the right onto Michigan and a right onto North Harbor Drive, and you are back in to transition area. Again, we ask that all of you have a very firm grasp of what this course will entail. Please drive it in your car and take a look with map in hand at all these various turns that you're going to have to navigate on race day. The run course will be 1 lap, 10 kilometers, again for the Olympic distance. Majority takes place in Veterans Park, which is a beautiful park down in this area. Lincoln Memorial Drive will be closed. There'll be 3 aid stations, Gatorade, water, and goo. 2 of the aid stations you'll actually pass twice, and then there'll be plenty of volunteers, obviously, and police on the course at certain key intersections. The Olympic distance run course, very easy to follow. You'll exit transition. You'll move on to Oak Leaf Trail that you'll follow the bend as you see it here on the course. It will actually be right next to the water until such time you actually get back after the turnaround point, the farthest edge point just off of Lake Michigan. You take the right onto the trail. Now you're passing on the inside body of water, again parallel to Lake Memorial Drive where the cycling portion took place, and you'll do a U-turn. It'll be very clearly marked at the furthermost point on the run course where a timing mat will be located. For the first wave, there will be a lead cyclist, so you will not veer off course. Hopefully, if the first runner stays on course, the other athletes will also be on the same course and finish on the same course at the end of the day. It will be very clearly marked, so as you make that U-turn, the trail, very simple to follow. You then come from the trail over to Lincoln Memorial Drive. That will bring you all the way back to the finish line area. Again, very easy to navigate, not a huge number of turns, very well marked, and just stay in the channel that's created for you because there will be sections where runners and cyclists will be on the road at the same time. The sprint distance swim course, again, 1-lap course. Like we noted earlier, the wetsuit legal swim, 74 degrees would make it legal. That was the reading on July 22nd, so you'd expect that to more than likely be the case, but bring your wetsuit just in case. We'll make an announcement to you as well as to your likelihood of being able to wear wetsuits on this morning. In-water start, rectangular loop. Again, your yellow buoys are your turn buoys, your orange buoys are your sight buoys. We'll talk about where they're going to be positioned, whether they're on your right or your left. The support on the water will be extensive, both lifeguards, kayaks, and we ask, as we did with the Olympic distance athletes, that you show up as early as you can so that you can be in position at the start of the swim with those athletes in your wave. The swim course, as we noted earlier, the queue will put people in line for several waves ahead. Swim warm-up area, you'll move to the start. In the water start, gun will sound. You'll then have your first diagonal, which will be a straight shot till you see the first buoy. Again, it's a turn buoy, so you'll angle back to the right You'll go underneath the bridge. Again, a fairly narrow channel where you have out and back swim traffic, so we'll ask that you stay as far to the left as you possibly can. Directional buoy will be just to your right. The first turn buoy after your first buoy will be that farthest most point, keeping it to your right at all times. Do not cut that course at that point. Make sure you turn where the yellow buoys are positioned. You then have that short diagonal to make the next right turn. You then reverse field. You start coming back. You come underneath the bridge. You have the final yellow turn buoy to your left. And it is the only buoy that's going to be to your left. That actually gets you to land. So your last diagonal will be to the actual swim exit point. The sprint distance bike course. Again, 1 lap, 20 kilometers, mostly flat, close to traffic, no bottle exchanges. As we've noted, there will be plenty of officials on the course. No bikes are going to be allowed on I-794 and Hone Bridge before the event. Very, very critical. Also note that the Hone Bridge has some joints that will be covered with mats, and there will be mats covering other sections of the course too. So as you're driving this course, know that we are aware of those fairly rough places and are covering those with mats that have been secured for this event. Stay to the right of the yellow center line and the areas that are coned. Again, you'll be in this particular channel. Be very, very careful and cognizant to keep your head up so you always know what is in front of you and around you. The bike course is essentially a microcosm of what you saw at the Olympic distance event. You'll exit transition on the edge of Discovery World. You take that real hard left on Michigan, the right on Lincoln Memorial Drive. You'll take the turn just before Lake Drive, and you'll reverse field on Lincoln Memorial. That joins up with I-794 at Lake Freeway. Except this time, on your turnaround point, you'll be just about to Russell Avenue, where you'll do a 180. You'll reverse field, come back the opposite direction. Again, on I-794. One note here is on the bridge, you'll actually be channeled into the northbound lanes, just to make a point of that, in case you're out there looking at that particular section of course. You'll take a right onto Michigan, and then a right onto North Harbor Drive, just as you did with the Olympic distance race, if you happen to go out and watch that event, and then you're into transition. It is a fairly flat course. Those spikes are deceiving that you see on the elevation map, in that those really aren't that elevated. So when you get up the course, you'll have a pretty good gauge of what the elevation changes are going to be. The run course will be 1 lap, 5 kilometers. The majority of it does take place in Veterans Park. Lincoln Memorial Drive, again as a reminder, will be closed. 2 aid stations, Gatorade, water, and goo. Those are marked on your maps, so you should be able to see those. Check those out when you get to packet pickup as well. And then obviously volunteers and police will be on the course. The sprint distance run course is slightly different from what you saw at the Olympic distance event. Again, you will exit the transition area, cross some grass onto the trail, stay on the trail that perimeters that borders Lake Michigan, to the turnaround point over by the Veterans Park area, or excuse me, the museum area, come back around, circle back onto, again, the pathway that's now on the inside of this body of water that you see on the map. Again, still on the trail. You will pretty much circumnavigate the entire body of water there. There are the Gatorade stops located on your map. Come back, again, reverse field on the other side of the lake. Take the right onto Lincoln Memorial Drive, where you'll then move right into the finish line, just as you did in the Olympic distance race, for those people that do both events or those people that watch the Olympic distance race. So it's fairly simple, fairly flat run course. You will be sharing road with cyclists, so please be cognizant of that. There will also be a lead cyclist out on the run course so that people do not get off path if you're in that front wave leading the race, perhaps. A station to get every mile of the course, Gatorade G Series Pro Endurance Formula, goo, water, and ice. Again, there's no ball exchanges on the bike course. Transition. The mountain dismount lines will be very clearly marked. You'll see those just outside of the transition zone. The bike racks will be individually numbered, so you do not need to get there early to mark your spot. You'll rack by your seat to start the race, and you can rack by your bars during the race. Only race essentials will be allowed in transition. No extra sundry bags placed. Only those items you need for the event will be allowed to be positioned next to your bike. Bags, we talked about that with the security information. There'll be a bag check-in tent, so you'll be able to drop off your clear plastic bag at that particular location. If you have any questions about this, please be certain to email nationalevents@usatriathlon.org. Race morning bike support will be provided by Will and Sprocket. Again, for basic bike needs, any major overhauls need to be seen by a mechanic at a bike shop, not at this particular location. Please note that. The Olympic distance bike checkout will begin at approximately 12:15. We'll let you know when that opportunity exists. We'll make several announcements about that, and the sprint distance bike checkout will be about 11 o'clock. Here is an actual transition map, very clear, I think, to most people. If you've had a chance to study maps before with other races, we do what we call a through zone transition. So every movement is entirely through the transition zone where you exit on the back end. So you'll exit the water, enter on the bottom side transition, exit out the top for the bike out, do the bike loop, come back in. Notice it's right in the same area as the swim. There will be demarcation there where you'll have cones and other dividers because the race will have people coming in from the swim and in from the particular bike that they're doing. Transition, again, to go through transition, run out onto the path, and the finish line is just to the north of where the transition is located. Very easy, very clear. This particular map we will not go into heavy detail, but please note the legend to the right, indicating where everything will be located at the venue on race day. So we ask that you take this map with you as well. Walk around the venue on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday before your race start. Become very familiar with what is located where, and or ask volunteers, USA Triathlon volunteers at the venue if you do have questions about where certain things might be placed. The all-wonderful finish line, which every one of you listening to this call will actually see. We have water, Gatorade that will be provided, medical support, your finisher's medal, your post-race food, your results and penalties, individual unofficial results printout, what we call a kiosk, where you'll be able to pick up your results, which is nice. It'll be located underneath or next to a tent. All Olympic distance results will be final after the head referee and the head timer have signed off on the results. They will be posted at the venue after 3 o'clock. For the sprint distance athletes, it'll be after 12:30 p.m. on Sunday. Also note that we have a very special VIP arrangement for those people who have met criteria that we've defined, which is part of the Century Club and people that did 10 or more events this past year. There'll be some special things you'll be receiving and seeing at the venue, which we'll call VIP, not to be confused with VIPs that are there who are not competing. The award ceremony, which will also be where Team USA spots will be given out for the 2014 Sprint and Olympic Distance World Championships in Canada. The town hall meeting will start at 4 p.m. and run through 4:45 at the Henry Meyer Festival Park. A very, very worthwhile opportunity for you to learn about what is happening in the sport from the Federation's perspective. CEO Rob Urbach and President Bob Wendling will be there, along with Age Group Committee Chairperson Chuck Graziano. The Olympic Distance National Championship will take place in the same location starting at 5 o'clock. It'll run through about 6:30. The top 5 per age group will be awarded very classy medals. The top 3 Athena's 39 and under, 40 and over, as well as the top 3 Clydesdale 39 and under and 40 and over. The Sprint Distance National Championship will take place at the same location, 1:30 to 2:30 approximately, maybe 2:45. Again, the top 3 per age group, and then the Athenas and the Clydesdales, as you see here on this overview. Note that to be eligible for awards and titles, you must be a U.S. citizen or a U.S. national. This is especially true when looking at the Team USA spots, where U.S. spots will be given and only to U.S. athletes at this particular location. There'll be sign-in tables that you'll be required to check a box and ensure that you have interest or not in attending Worlds in Edmonton this next year. What better place to enjoy the post-race festivities than the beer garden? So USA Triathlon has been able to work with the LOC, Local Organizing Committee, on securing the Great River Brewery, offering beer to all of you guys that want to hang out and enjoy the beautiful weather, which we are going to have. It'll be located there at the Milwaukee Art Museum on their terrace. Must bring your photo ID that shows date of birth, and we ask that you guys please be very careful not to drink and drive. If you do need transportation back home, talk to a friend or certainly someone else that might be going back to your location of residence for the weekend. We'd love to see you there. Come in, have fun, and make it a worthwhile experience for you to tell some stories about your race and learn about others' races as well. We talked about Team USA sign-up, which can only be done at the awards ceremony location. This will be the World Championship actually in Edmonton, Canada, 2014. Slated right now to be the last weekend of August, not yet confirmed, but where it's being currently penciled in. In each of the distance events, Olympic and Sprint, the top 18 will secure those spots. We will roll down to 25th place. It says athletes need to go to the award ceremony. That is the rule, the policy. We must ask that you do that to claim your spot. We talked about being a U.S. citizen or a U.S. national. The Kids Fun Run is going to be a free event on Friday, August 9th at 5 p.m. for those 4 to 14 years of age. It'll be a quarter-mile run and a half-mile run, non-competitive, and we'll break down what age categories are running what distances. It's going to be located at the Milwaukee Art Museum lawn, and to sign up, you need to register your kids and do it quickly because we're going to limit space to the first 200 that do sign up. So we encourage you to get your son or daughter or spouse's daughter or friends, family members sign up for the event. It should be a really fun time for the kids to get out there and enjoy the ambiance and surroundings that are part of the festival weekend. As is true with every event, you simply cannot host races of this magnitude without saying thank yous. This particular slide shows all of those folks who have come together to make this event possible. We ask that you do what you can during the week that you're there to thank anybody that it looks official, that is in a volunteer shirt or is part of the city municipality or part of clubs and groups. Bob Hanish, Wendy Hanish, the list goes on and on and on. Visit Milwaukee, the police department, sheriff's department, so on and so forth. So please do what you can to thank these great folks who've made this event possible for us and all of you. Also, prudent to thank USA Triathlon's gold partners, Active, Rudy Project, TIR, and Gatorade for their overwhelming support of USA Triathlon. And finally, for those of you who are going to be bold enough to compete in this event, we wish you a lot of great luck and preparation as you move closer and closer to race day. Make certain you stay healthy, you stay fit, you eat and drink in the right ways so that you come ready to race. Travel safe. See you guys in a few weeks.